Welcome to Obscured Reality with Mark and Stephanie. From UFO sightings to the lost city of Atlantis, from alien encounters to the living dead, each episode will leave you questioning reality. If you're ready to explore the eerie, tune in to Obscured Reality, where mysteries come alive.
Welcome back to Obscured Reality. Mark and Stephanie back at you. Tonight's show, we're working on putting a smile on that face over there. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough, but I think we can do it. That was weird.
Yeah, it was. But all right.
We're going to get straight into it. But before we do, right there on the TV, obscuredr1@gmail.com. That's our email. If you have an obscure story of your own, you have seen something weird in the sky, whatever the deal is, shoot us an email, type story in the subject line, tell us your story. We'll share it for you on here because you might not want to. But if you want to come on and do it yourself, you can. With that said, a big shout out to the new subscribers, and in particular, subscriber Acorn 888. Tonight's show, unbeknownst to that person, is brought to you by him or her, whoever that is.
Them.
He shot us over a little story in the comments, so y'all can read it for yourselves if you'd like. And so we're going to take a look at that tonight. Let's take a look at what he said. We're going to go into a few things. We got a video for you. I think picture. I don't know. We got a video here, but let's take a look real quick at what Acorn 888 has told us. He says, "Good morning. I was wondering if you guys recall one of the incidents where the Channel 7 had posted an article saying mystery light in the sky. What is it? And then within 15 to 30 minutes, the article was replaced by something along the lines of, the light in the sky was a rocket launch practice by our government, which Channel 7 was notified 2 weeks prior." Interesting. So I went looking for the article. Obviously 7 to 9 years old, and especially if they changed it, I didn't find it. I did find something from about 10 years ago, though, which may be kind of similar. Now, Acorn went on in his comments to say something about he saw a light in the sky. It had this green mist around it. And I'm not sure if he was relating that to this story or just completely separate incident where he saw something.
Yeah.
Or she. I'm just going to say he. I mean he or she.
They.
Well, yeah, whatever. And I think he's relating it to this, that he may have seen this around the same time, thinking they're both kind of one and the same. And he was questioning this article. He thought it was odd because they very quickly went back, redacted it within less than half an hour, put up a new one saying, "Oh yeah, we were already notified by the government or whomever, by the government a couple weeks prior that this was just a test rocket launch, blah, 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 blah." And I do find it kind of odd. Why would the government be reaching out to a news channel a couple weeks prior to let them know? You would think they'd just put out their own little brief thing for the news, all news channels, to say, "Hey, we're testing a rocket," right?
Yeah.
But what it kind of sounds to me like is more like, if that is the case and that's what happened, someone may have seen this article. They may have been watching all the news channels. I'm sure they have someone watching to see what's coming out. They may have contacted a higher up really quick and said, "Change that goddamn article now." Right?
Yeah.
Now, Acorn's incident, which I believe is his incident of this light in the sky, this green mist, kind of, for me, it harkens back to something I saw about a year-ish ago, maybe a little more than a year, where, we went for a walk and the sun was just setting. It had just gone below the horizon, so it wasn't dark, but it wasn't super bright out, right? And we're going for a walk, and I look up in the sky, and I see this light just moving in the sky. It looked really high, either like a commercial airliner at cruising altitude or possibly a satellite.
Mhm.
I don't think it was a commercial airliner, although it could have been. I really don't know. But this caught my attention because it had this huge mist around it, and it was in a circle around it. Now, imagine the point of a pen, okay,
Yeah.
or a point of a pencil, being the light. The ring of mist was probably about the size of maybe a nickel or a quarter around it. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
almost,
Okay.
from what I could tell, like, yeah, perfect circle, but the mist was way larger
Yeah.
than the object, right?
Yeah.
And if it really was as high as a commercial airliner cruising altitude or even a satellite, then that ring of mist would have been massive, right? Miles probably.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Now I don't know what it was. Sun had gone down. Commercial airliner at cruising altitude. I don't know how long the sun had been down, but it could have been reflection from the sun off of an airliner. I've seen it plenty of times, and if you catch it at the right spot, or in the west, uh, when the sun goes down, it looks really weird, or it can. But also satellite. We know satellites are super high up, right? So they're going to catch a reflection of that sun as it goes down to the west over by Hawaii, and then even farther down, and until it's no longer in the view of the sun.
Mhm.
It was just very odd, and I know there's different weather patterns up there, so there could be a chance. The reason I say I don't think it was a plane is because this mist was so big. It was like a circle around the whole light. It wasn't like a plume of mist coming off the back like it could have been from an engine or something. So it was all around the light. That's why I'm not convinced of really anything. So I don't know. It was interesting, and Acorn 888's comment really reminded me of that.
Sorry.
So that was interesting. Let's go into the news article I found. So I was looking for Acorn's thingamabob, the article he was talking about. Obviously, it's going to be really hard to find. I couldn't find it. I did find something from 10 years ago from Channel 7. I don't know that it is related or not. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's not. But we're going to play it. It's about 2.5 minutes long. We'll be stopping it and making some comments. We got audio here. Let's check it out.
You see them? A lot of our viewers reported seeing unusual lights in the sky over Southern California late last night.
Let's pause it right there.
Mhm.
So I want to note on this, he said, Southern California. This is going to come up. We're going to look at some maps in a few minutes and show you guys some important information. Okay.
Comments and pictures turned up on social media. We still have more questions than answers about this mystery.
As always.
County Bureau Chief Eileen Clare live in Rancho Santa Margarita, where she talked with witnesses of those very strange lights. Eileen.
That's such a long city name.
People. One lives in Trabuco Canyon, the other lives here in Rancho Santa Margarita. Two separate communities.
Okay, so she's talking about Trabuco Canyon and Rancho Santa Margarita. There's a few cities right there. They all pretty much back up to or back into the hills, the mountains going up to Santiago Peak. Trabuco Canyon, you have Santiago Canyon Road, very popular. For those of you that may not be too familiar with the area but know some of the things, it's where Cook's Corner is, a famous biker bar. They don't dub it a biker bar anymore. It is 90% bikers there. Cool place. I've been there a lot. I like it. So that's kind of the area. Look it up. Rancho Santa Margarita, Trabuco Canyon. They border each other. They're right there. Let's continue. Well, I think we're going to hit another city or two in a minute.
But the women described seeing essentially the same thing around 10:30 last night, and they are certainly not alone. The videos, the photos started coming into the ABC7 Eyewitness newsroom through Facebook, through Twitter. We can show you some of that. Callers reported seeing at least two orbs in the sky. These are, some call them orbs, others call them fireballs. One Aliso Viejo resident says he saw them around 8:30 last night. Others reported seeing them between 11 last night and midnight. The calls came in from...
So we're seeing them around different times,
Mhm.
okay? Is what they're saying there. Now she mentions a city. I don't know if she mentioned it already. I was more focused on the video. She mentions Aliso Viejo. Okay. And to me, that's kind of important. I know the area. Okay. Rancho Santa Margarita and Trabuco Canyon are inland to the east. They're a few miles away from the 5 freeway. Aliso Viejo, if I'm not mistaken, is on the 5 freeway. It kind of borders it on the west side, so closer, much closer to the ocean.
Mhm.
Um, we don't have a direction that these people were looking. However, I believe we do have an approximate location within each county. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I want to point something out. So south of that whole entire area is a marine training facility called Camp Pendleton. Most of you probably heard of it. They do hovercrafts, tanks. They train with a ton of shit out there. They'll fly Ospreys in from San Diego in the bay, the harbor, for the training as well.
Mhm.
Blackhawks, all that shit, right?
Hmm.
On any given day right now, a couple nights ago, I could hear them out there. I went
Yeah.
outside at night. I don't remember what time. It was still early, but you could hear way off in the distance just boom, boom, from
Yeah.
tanks and stuff. Now,
It's kind of cool.
you the loudness that you hear it is dependent on the wind.
Hmm.
If you get the breeze coming towards this direction, you hear it better.
Mhm.
If it's not coming towards this direction, you might not hear it at all. Some people might hear it, other communities may not, right? It's not far, but it's definitely not close. And I mentioned that for a reason. Where I paused the video here, you see those 2 lights in the sky. The problem is we don't know where this video was taken from. So to me, this video looks like it's either from a freeway or a toll road. Most likely, I'm thinking toll road. There is one that runs right through or near Aliso Viejo, and there's no lights on the freeway and there's no cars. Given the time frame this happened, between 9ish to midnight, depending on who took this video and when, even on the 5 freeway, there'd be more vehicles on the road than this. I'm looking at the green signs over the road there. I'm pretty sure this is either the freeway or the toll road. I'm pretty sure it's a toll road.
Okay.
I don't know where on the toll road, but either way, that toll road ends not too far south of Aliso Viejo. Camp Pendleton is not just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Yes, you can hear distant booms when they're practicing, but it's not like it's right next door, okay?
Yeah.
I personally do not believe in any way, shape, or form that if those lights were any type of aircraft happening to be training near Camp Pendleton or in Camp Pendleton, I do not believe you would see those lights. They don't look any brighter than the landing lights that are on airplanes, either on the front wheel when it comes down or mounted into the plane, like commercial airliners,
Yeah.
I've been very close. I've been under those planes as they're landing by a particular airport. And as they're coming in far away, that's what they look like. But even though you could see those landing lights 10 miles out, they to my recollection, they don't even look that bright right there until they're much closer. But Camp Pendleton's a lot more than 10 miles away. You got to drive for a bit to get down there. You go through a few cities before you're even there, and then some open land, and then you're there. Camp Pendleton's on the ocean and the land. They have a huge chunk of land they own, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to point that out. If this is from the toll road, if it's in one of the 3 cities she mentioned, it's either freeway or toll road, you're not going to see those lights from Camp Pendleton like that. Now, I've never seen military flares in the sky. However, I don't believe you would see those, at least not that brilliant, from that far away. They aren't that close, but you might be able to with the flares. I don't know. I have no knowledge of that. So I just want to point those things out. Let's continue.
North San Diego County, Riverside County, as well as here in Orange County. Here's how a couple of eyewitnesses described this.
She just mentioned 3 counties. Orange County, Riverside County, San Diego County. Let's listen to that again and see exactly what she said.
Riverside County, as well as here in North San Diego County, Riverside. Last night
Start
at
right here.
midnight, the calls came in from North San Diego County, Riverside County, as well as here in Orange County.
Okay.
North San Diego County, Riverside County, and Orange County. She didn't say any particular area of the last 2 counties. Let's go.
Here's how a couple of eyewitnesses described the strange lights.
And there the lights were up in the sky, and they were large, and there was 2 of them, and there was a smoke stream coming out of them, but they weren't really moving.
She said an important point right there. Smoke screen. The smoke stream coming out of them. Okay. So automatically, we're already going to be leaning towards the lines of aircraft or flare. Most likely flare. Could be wrong. She doesn't give any depiction of the smoke. If these lights are moving at all, if the smoke's traveling upward, like if a flare's coming down, maybe
Right.
there's no breeze, the smoke's going up, maybe there's a breeze that's going, we don't know. But she also does not do humanity justice, and you're going to hear that in a moment in a comment she makes. Let's go.
They were flashing just a little bit, and then they disappeared, and then a third one came around. I'm looking at it thinking, well, that's really strange because it was yellow, not normal plane lights. I look out, and suddenly there's a second light, and it was about 10:33 last night. We had 2 lights, then they both went out, then a third light came on. I was listening for helicopter sounds, plane sounds, no sounds at all, just lights. Well, of course, we thought aliens at first.
Of course you thought aliens at first. Because why wouldn't you?
Jesus.
There's no proof aliens from anywhere other than this
Jesus.
planet exist. There's no proof or no evidence that aliens out there might exist. But let's see what she has to say.
But then we realized it was over the Marine base.
Oh.
So we probably figured they were doing something.
Most
Yeah,
likely.
We checked with Camp Pendleton. Officials say they did not have any air training last night. Miramar Airfield says they do fly at night, but they did not have training either last night. So far, they cannot confirm that the lights came from any of their operations at Miramar. We also checked with the Orange County Sheriff's Department, San Diego County. They report no problems. We're still waiting to hear back from the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. The FAA also told us that they had no unusual aircraft activity in Southern California last night. So we're back to where we started. What were those strange lights?
I don't know, honey. But let's be a little less dramatic for the news and use some common sense. And what I'm going to go with is probably flares. That's what it sounds like. A little bit of color to it. Kind of some flickering. One goes out, one comes on. Yeah, there's probably a chopper up there dropping flares. A plane. An Osprey, I don't know. Now, I'm concerned about the time at night, but there's not a lot around there. What I will say is, like, for instance, the Ospreys and the Blackhawks, they'll fly in from San Diego, okay? And they'll go out over the ocean. You can watch them on Flight Radar 24. Any given day, pull it up around 10, 11 a.m. Guarantee you're probably going to see Ospreys and or Blackhawks flying around. They go straight out over the ocean in practice. I think some of the SEAL teams do it there.
Oh, wow.
They go out over the ocean and fly up to Camp Pendleton and go into Camp Pendleton from there.
And you can watch us all on Flight Tracker.
Flight Radar 24.
Oh, wow.
You can go to the website or download the app. I'd recommend the app.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty cool.
yeah, if you pulled it up right now, you'd probably find something out there going on. Point is, typically from what I've seen, they go out over the ocean and then go north. You're not going to hear them. Okay. I personally just question, are you going to see their flares at night from as far away as Aliso Viejo is? I don't know. I don't want to say no, but
Right.
I don't know. I want to say yes. So that video was from June 19th, 2014. Okay. It's about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for the video. It happened around 10:30, and I play that for a reason. Orange County. This is somewhat of a UFO hotspot in a way, or the general area. You have the mountains in Orange County, Santiago Peak, and all that. But we also know that Catalina and the Pacific Ocean between California and Catalina has been a hotspot for a long time, and a little bit out from Catalina too. We have David Fravor, his incident back from quite some years ago. You guys know him, Tic Tac and all that stuff. That all happened out there.
Sure did.
And there's old stories of weird, anomalous things being seen out there. So who knows? Let's look at the maps real quick. I want to show you guys the maps so you get a very good idea of what's going on here and why I think this is probably Camp Pendleton. So this first map you see outlined in the red there,
Yeah.
that's going to be your Orange County area. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the cities listed on there, but it comes all the way down Liso Viejo. There's I think San Juan Capistrano is in with Orange County, Dana Point. So it comes down a ways.
Okay.
Next map, we have San Diego County. Now remember that news reporter said North San Diego County is where they had reports from. Okay. So North San Diego County, you could be talking anywhere up in this quadrant here where it says San Diego County. Probably
Can you go back
anywhere.
to the last clip real fast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a huge difference in county size. All right.
So
Wow.
North San Diego County could be anywhere above the word San Diego County there.
Right.
Most likely because of where Rancho Santa Margarita and Aliso Viejo are, which is up here by the 74 up here, past there. We're probably looking around here-ish.
Yeah.
Right? Now, next shot, here's Riverside County. Whoop. So you see San Diego, the city,
Yeah.
down here. Yeah, Riverside County comes all the way out here to the west, and then Orange County borders. Now, lastly, here's Camp Pendleton. And look at this. Riverside County comes all the way out. San Diego County comes up, stops at Camp Pendleton, and goes right around it. Orange County comes straight down to Camp Pendleton, and boom. So this goes to what you and I have been preaching for a long time. Common sense, critical thinking. Just think for 2 fucking seconds, okay? Aliens, military base. Military. It may not have been. I don't know. And I'm not using that to say that Acorn 888's news article he had heard about has anything to do with this, or that it was military related. Like I said, I've seen quite a few things I can't explain in the area I currently live, most of which I can explain away, 2 of which I have a hard time explaining. 1, if I have to, I'm pressed, I can explain it away, but I won't be comfortable with the answer. However, 1 of them, I cannot explain at all. 100% guaranteed. I know what it's not.
Right.
Some of the things it's not.
Yeah.
Right. But that was not over Camp Pendleton either. So that was directly overhead for the most part. And actually north of where I'm at. So even farther from Camp Pendleton, right? So I'll just bring up real quick. Here's some comments I found within the last few days. This is why I want to bring all this up. This is on the, I believe, the Nextdoor app. Sure, a lot of us have heard of Nextdoor. I don't frequent it much anymore. I'll look, but I don't comment. I've controlled myself somewhat, thankfully. This was just like a week ago. This guy said, anybody see the large orange light in the sky on Sunday around 10:05? Moving very slow from about northeast to south. Saw it again last night at about 9:40, moving extremely slow from the northeast to the west. Then gained altitude, got smaller, blinked a few times, and then out of sight. No noise at all. Then we have another comment. This was on that guy's post. We keep seeing the exact same thing from South Orange County 4 nights in a row now at about 11 to 11:30 p.m. Never seen anything like it before and can't figure it out. From our vantage point, it was west about 25 to 35 degrees. So those were interesting because those just happened recently and proves the point of, the whole UFO thing, UAP thing, is very prevalent in this area. That doesn't mean this is anything anomalous. It doesn't mean it's not anomalous. We don't know. I asked them some questions. One of the guys responded to me. I couldn't get much of a good answer out of him.
Right.
He avoided some of the questions. So I couldn't get really good detail from him on this. But 4 nights in a row, here's what helps these stories out is you have numerous people here seeing it.
Yeah.
You got one person posting about it, and there were more people than just this commenting. There was other people.
Yeah, it said like
that saw
25
it too.
comments on it or something. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but there was only a few on there. But it doesn't matter. There was more than one person that commented that also saw it and thought it was highly strange. There was maybe 2 to 4 people that commented. So that is interesting because typically we all know when you see an airplane or a helicopter at night, we're used to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But when you see it and it's doing some weird shit, it just looks weird. That's when you question it. It's anybody's guess what the stuff is. This is a large orange light. That's not an airplane or a helicopter. If they have a bright light on, it's going to be white.
Yeah.
Other than that, they have the red and the green, the strobes flashing, direction indicators, and all that. Helicopters will have a lot of the flashing typically, unless it's a police helicopter. They turn them off depending what they're doing. Gained altitude, I don't know, just because it got smaller, all you're looking at is a light. You don't know what or if there's an object behind it, meaning you don't know what the object is.
Right.
So how do you know the light's not just dimming out?
Right.
Slowly going out. We don't know. And it's similar to the one I saw. It just a light. There's got to be an object behind it, but I don't know what the fuck it was.
Right.
And can't explain it. So this is just interesting. Ton of shit going on at Camp Pendleton. If we look at where these reports came from, San Diego County, Riverside, Orange County, that all points to Camp Pendleton.
Yeah.
It may not have been. I don't know, but probably was. The news reporter did make a good point. Not really, but she said, we contacted Camp Pendleton, and yes, they do training, but they weren't doing training then, and blah blah blah. And they're not going to fucking tell you.
Yeah, that's what they say. They're at no liberty to fucking answer your questions.
No, they're not going to tell you. And then we call the FAA, and I just don't think these people get it, or they do get it, and they're just trying to hype it up even more, which is probably the case. The FAA said there's no reported weird activity in that area, blah, 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 blah. Well, some of these aircraft, military, they don't turn their transponders on, or they do for takeoff and landing. When they start heading the direction they're going or get too near where they're going, they turn that shit off. They're not going to pop up. FAA is not going to know they were there unless they're looking at radar. But Channel 7's calling the FAA. They ain't going to go look at their fucking radar for Channel 7 unless there's just some huge fucking event. Come on. So that whole thing's important, I think, because this whole area is a hot spot. We all know it.
Oh, yeah.
I find myself, if I'm outside at night, sometimes way more than in the past, looking up because I know shit's going on. I don't know what it is. I will say now that I'm live closer to the mountains play a role in UFO, in a lot of UFO UAP stories in the past. There's some ideas having to do with what's under the mountains as far as the type of rock. I think it was slate or something else, moving water, things. You're talking about things creating energy, right? Flowing water, that's energy, so who knows what's going on. But it was interesting. Acorn 888, you never replied back to me. Oh man, I'm so sad. But hey, if you still want to talk on the phone, I'd love to get a much better description of your story. And if you want to come on here and
that would be so
tell
cool.
your own story, and and talk about this, we'd love to have you on. Just shoot us an email. I put it to you in the comments, obscuredr1@gmail.com. Type story in the subject line, and I'll know it's you. But other than that, Stevie, what do you think about this story? I mean, we kind of got a couple stories here. We have Acorns,
Yeah.
and then we have this 10 years ago one.
I mean, obviously, the one 10 years ago, it just makes sense that, yes, it was more than likely Camp Pendleton. And then in regards to Acorn's story, who knows? I would like to really hear it from him before, making any type of, comment about it. Because I just want to know everything about, their story, I should say. Don't know if it's girl or boy, so their story.
Yeah, his is pretty interesting. I think it's interesting because it's similar to something I saw once. Doesn't mean there is or isn't an explanation. We don't know. I mean,
right. Just want to hear more before I make any commentary.
No. Oh, Stevie, Acorn, you scared Stevie?
No.
That doesn't happen much.
Not scared. I just want to
She's scared to talk.
Just want to hear more about it before.
Yeah,
I have a couple of sentences and that's all, and I would just want to hear more about the situation and whatever.
Yep, I agree. I'd like to hear more on that. If you have a similar story, I said it before, I said it again, obscuredr1@gmail. I'm not going to repeat it, the whole thing. You heard it at the beginning. Please send us your stories. We'll share it for you on here. Come on the show if you'd like to tell it yourself, anonymous or not, up to you. Voice only, video, up to you. It's easy for you to do. Just click a button, click a link. That's it. Like, share, subscribe, please. That would be great. And comment like Acorn did. That was great because we got to hear another similar story to something I've experienced, which is good. Don't feel so fucking crazy anymore. And that's kind of what it's about. Get the stigma away. All right. Any final thoughts there, Stevie?
Negative.
All right. With that said, we are out of here. Till next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.